Good morning. It's a beautiful Monday morning here in Phoenix, Arizona. And today we're going to be talking about it's all about the audience. As speakers, we must make sure that we know the audience, that we know their needs, and that we know what they're thinking during our speech. And we also need to be succinct. What regularly happens is that when we go there, sometimes we give them a lot of information, and that's not what they need. Or we are just talking and talking and talking, and we don't know if that is what the audience is thinking. We don't know what if what we're giving them is connecting with them or not, or what questions they have. And that is so important because we are taking their time and taking our time. And if we want to be successful and connect with them, we have to forget about us, about the presentation. Sometimes we care about the presentation a lot. Oh, no, they need to know this, they need to know that. And we try to squeeze everything in, and we create a disconnect because maybe they don't understand what we're saying. So there are three things that we need to do. Well, there's many more elements to connect with the audience, but today I will concentrate on three elements. And the first one is knowing the audience. We have to understand who they are. Right before we go in to that presentation, we have to understand their needs. That's the first thing we need to do. Because if we don't understand their needs, then how are we going to be preparing our presentation? And the next thing is, and this comes from Darren Lacroix, my coach in Stage Time University. And he says, one of the most important elements of the presentation is the thought process of the audience. We have to guess what they're thinking. What questions might they have? And those are the questions that we have to answer right before we go on stage, during the preparation. And then when we give the presentation, we also have to be thinking, what is it that they might be uh, asking? What questions do they have? And then at the same time, in order for us to reflect and to connect with them better, we need to ask them questions. Questions related to our presentation, but also related to them. Remember, it's always all about the audience. So if we connect with them through questions, if we interact with them somehow, then we involve them and we know what they're thinking. And the last thing or element that we'll cover today is being succinct. We sometimes think that the more knowledge we increase in, the more information we give them, the better it is. But sometimes it's not possible. It depends on the length of the presentation, of course, but we must always make it simple for them to understand. Use simple words. If we use words that are difficult for them to understand, then we lose them. Everybody must understand them. You know the audience, you know their needs, so use what they have. Use their language, their jargon, if possible. Being succinct is so important because we are going to have one message per point or one message for the whole presentation. And we must have a premise, a good established premise that will allow us to relate to what they came for. That is the theme. That is what they want, to what they're looking for. And then we give them a message, and that's what they take with them. And that is the solution for the premise, for their theme, for what they came to look for. Thank you very much for listening, and we see you tomorrow. In the meantime, stay safe, stay proactive.